Anyhow, good evening. I'm delighted to be able to welcome here Nathalie Du Pasquier. I came across Nathalie's work through our work with saturated space AA color cluster. Adam Foreman put this image on our site, and as it often happens through the law of coincidences and serendipities, a few 2 weeks later in Milan, I was sitting next to Nathalie at a dinner party, and we started talking about color. And in fact, we never stopped. We are still talking about color, often about Tiepolo pink is our favorite subject. So shortly after that, Nathalie wrote a beautiful poetic text about names of colors and names of pigments, and this is on our saturated space blog. And what happened next? This amazing work which Nathalie has been doing for many years transgresses disciplines, and like the work of Sonia Delaunay, it glides through different dimensions absolutely effortlessly, from drawing to painting, from 3-dimension to 2-dimensional things. So then on my last visit to Milan, I was always curious to check what she's painting, so I went to her studio, and in the last moment she gave me this magnificent book which then I was flicking through and reading on the plane, and the next day decided to show it here to Charlotte in the bookshop, and Charlotte put me in touch with manager, and through this AA collaboration we are very happy to welcome Nathalie Du Pasquier and Omar Sosa, who is the editor of the book and also co-founder and editor of the influential Apartamento magazine. So please welcome Nathalie and Omar.
Thank you, Anthony.
Okay. Let me put the presentation.
It's yours.
Let me do the presentation, view, full screen mode. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming with this beautiful day. Well, we would love to have like a fireplace or something next to us now.
Yeah.
Nothing, just, I'm gonna explain a little story how we started with this book, how we met with Nathalie, and then she will go forward with many, many beautiful images about her work. Well, I have to say, before us, I want to thank the Architectural Association for inviting us today. And also, making books, I love making books, and I love that because it's like putting different people together and going in a journey with them. And we also have to thank Dejan Sedic and Emily King for the beautiful text that they brought for the book. And they were part of this adventure. And well, maybe that's what I want to explain a little bit how we met in the beginning and how we ended up like making this collaboration together. I have to say, I didn't know the work of Nathalie for that long. I think I came across this picture online. I think it was in a blog. I was then researching for people for Apartamento. Mostly like lazy, like kind of Googling things and blogs. And I really loved when I saw this for the first time, this composition, this still life, and then many others that follow it on the same blog. I really love them for the color, for the basic composition that they have, And also, they struck me a lot because I saw a lot of connections with the work that I do myself and my business partners at Apartamento, naturally, as an ongoing project for the magazine. I mean, every issue we just, come with a different material and we just pile it one on top of each other. And we do this stupid, but just like, I don't know, nice compositions.
Piles.
Piles of things. That's what we like doing. I mean, just for the purpose of,
This is
of the
what
beauty.
joined us somehow, the piles.
It's true. And a book is, at the end of the day, it's a pile of things. That's
It's
true.
a pile of drawings.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's the best description, actually. So yeah, piling, well, we both pile a lot. And I don't know, I was like, this is pretty, I saw a connection there, but I didn't know more about Nathalie. I actually know nothing until speaking with my other partner in Milan, Marco, who was like, oh, you know what? But she was also a founding member of Memphis. And then I start seeing all these patterns and all this color and all that work and also the design and everything. I say, wow, she's really a subject for Apartamento. I mean, actually a true one. So we featured Nathalie on issue 8, and it was one of the nicest features. Now, looking back, I see that there was a lot that we didn't put in that feature. I mean, especially now knowing so much about you. We thought, I think
I have made so much more since then.
And that's true, it's true. I've never seen somebody so prolific.
That was 3 years ago, at least.
Maybe 4,
Maybe
it's true.
4.
So yeah, in that early stage that I didn't even meet Nathalie then, because we don't go to meet all the people that we featured in the magazine, that's something we have to honestly say. We did this nice story on her at her studio and her house in Milan. And well, it was maybe a few weeks later when we published the magazine that we both finally met. It was, I think, for the first time in Milan for the launch or for the opening of a beautiful exhibition of the carpets that Nathalie and her friend artist Chugo Mo did in Post Design Gallery in Milan, right? And well, we finally met. I was very shy. You were like the superstar.
You were not shy at all.
I think I was. No. But then I think we went to your studio, and then I discovered your whole world, and then, yeah, then I mean, I wouldn't say we became friends, but then
no, a little bit.
No, well, I like this reference. But something, at least we spoke with each other.
Yeah.
And then we proposed you, I think, to make an exhibition, a little exhibition at the Bon Lambert Gallery in Paris.
In the bookshop, and not in the gallery.
Yeah, in the bookshop. Well, let me say the Bon
Don't
Lambert.
exaggerate.
Yeah, it was a little thing, but it was very beautiful.
It was super.
We organized
it's
it in
a very
3 floors.
nice bookshop in Paris, and they have a little room next to the bookshop where they do small exhibitions. And you were presenting the magazine, and so we did a little exhibition of drawings, of recent drawings, not the drawings of the 80s, of recent drawings in the little room.
It was a nice event. And then I think it was at the Bon Lambert at the library where I bought this book that I actually saw before and I always wanted to have. But I was a little bit disappointed, I have to say, because I thought it was a big book, and that's actually like this size. But the content it's stunning, and even more when Nathalie explained me what is behind the book. I mean, the way that Nathalie and Leonard Cohen, who is the author, made this book.
Yeah.
Maybe you can explain it better.
Yeah, Leonard Cohen is an American guy who makes books as well, and he really takes care of every aspect of the book and also very much about the subject, of course. And this book was about arranging things, how the rhetoric of the placement of objects. So how certain ways of putting objects communicate certain things. So it could be said it is almost like a shop window manual or something like that.
But
what was great in doing this book was that he would send me sentences describing relationships between objects. For example, a group of objects on a chair, or two very simple and similar objects on an important base. Or he would explain things like that. And then with what I had in the studio, I would make little sets and then make little paintings
well, when she explained me that, I said like, wow, imagine how beautiful it must be to just send Natalie a text and then a few weeks after receive a painting with something that it was in your head. And then all of a sudden it's reorganized, rethought, or remade on, through your
Yeah,
way of
because
seeing it.
he would never say what objects had to be part of this conversation between things. It was all free to me to decide.
Well, then when I got very jealous and I said, I want to do the same. I want that. I would love to have this relationship, this like rapport. I don't know how you said that. Well, then we started wondering what we could do together. Also because at that time I was back and forth between Milan and Barcelona. I live in Barcelona, and but then at some point I lost my job there, and I knew I was going to go way less to Milan. And then it was Nathalie said like, let's do something together, so we have to keep in touch.
Seeing each other.
And then I don't know. Then I think at that point we started to thinking of making different things, like maybe a little book or like a little like. We actually made a game of memory cards, and this idea of memory then it will come later on the story. But one of the first pictures, and actually I looked today for this picture, and it was on the second email that I exchanged with Nathalie. She sent me this beautiful little drawing of I don't know, just a mechanic thing, and she called it Mechanica, and
Mechanica.
and I think that was a starting point for something.
Yes.
We didn't know what, but it was for something.
But it was the sound which we liked, Mechanica.
Right. That's why we made these memory cards after. It's very mechanic sound. That's it. So well, nothing really. I mean, we made this little box of cards, but it wasn't very successful. I mean, actually, it wasn't at all. But it was the excuse to come, to see each other more often. And then in one of my visits to her studio in Milan, she opened this drawer of drawings that was sitting on a corner in the studio, and that was much looking forward to see, And she just pulled out some beautiful drawings. I mean, many of them. I remember that, I don't know, that evening you were like, especially, I don't know why, but you started like taking some more outside, like these doors that you could see, or like.
I was showing off.
You wanted to show off that day a
I
little bit.
wanted to show off.
Then I took advantage because I knew that Nathalie doesn't want to talk about the past. I mean, she's somebody that lives in the future, I would say, more than even in the present, but for sure not in the past. And I was also very afraid of asking for something that belonged to her past, to Memphis, that everybody's asking her for Memphis and all that stuff. And I knew that you wanted to talk about what's happening now. But when I see those illustrations, those drawings, I thought straight away that they would make an amazing book. And basically, I mean, because nobody have seen them before, right? I mean, only in rare occasions.
No.
So well, she showed me more and more, and I just went back to Barcelona thinking of how beautiful things I've seen. I have to confess, I put one in Instagram, and it was very successful. So I thought, like, okay, that's something there. But then it took a while until we started talking, and then I think at some point I must have convinced you.
You convinced me, in fact.
To make a book.
Yeah.
But then the point is.
You convinced me not because of the story of the book, but because of making the book. Because of making this object together, that was, again, a pile of things. Because this is what I liked about how we did this book. It was not a historical book. It was a pile of drawings installed in a way that I found interesting now.
Right. But then in the beginning, well, then I was in my dream. I was like Leonard Cohen sitting in Barcelona, and then I said, okay, Nathalie, let's do it. Well, she said, let's do it, Omar. And she basically started scanning herself all these drawings and put them on Dropbox. So for me, every day was like going to Dropbox and finding new stuff. It was beautiful. It was beautiful because for me, I didn't have any idea of all those drawings or all that work. And it was like day by day, I was filing all these drawings on my computer. And then one day I came to Milan with a big pile of little thumbnails. And then we started seeing what we could do with that. In the beginning, I have to say it was difficult for me to digest all this amount of material, and we had no idea how to organize it. Well, I think Nathalie was insisting on just piling the pictures one after the other, but I'm a little bit more
But you are a bookmaker, so you knew you couldn't do it like that. and you find the way of doing it, which was starting from the small things until the bigger things. And I think it was a very nice idea because it was also cutting away the chronological thing. We were not talking about the drawings and then in the end she did this. No, it was from the very small things until the big ones. Because in all those 7 years, I have been doing small things and big things. So
well, you can see here, I mean, for Nathalie, you know, designing a jewel or a pair of headphones or a set of brass is the same thing like decorating a carpet or making a house or an interior, or even much more complicated things like complex like a city. And in fact, they all belong to the same thing. I think in your mind is the same thing. That's why we decided that in the book, chronological order had no sense, but size mattered, and matters in the sense that we could group the different objects in different sections by size more than anything.
Yes.
But then what happened? Then we also had this beautiful, colorful, and what she's most famous for, patterns. And in the beginning, we thought that maybe the patterns wouldn't be part of this book because we were making this exercise of reducing. Like, we don't want this, we don't want that. We only gonna make this book that is from 81 to 87, so it was already something that it was finished. And we're pretty much about reducing. But then somehow we realized that the patterns are, or these decorative surfaces, as Nathalie says, are a main part of everything. Are like somehow like the glue between all these different
and also
objects.
The reason why all these things have happened, because the first things I did for Memphis were these patterns, and this is thanks to my entering this group that I have been starting designing all the rest, because I was surrounded by people who were designing buildings, typewriters, everything. So this was really the patterns, they were the key for me to enter all that.
And they work in the book. I mean, eventually we put them between the images, and they kind of became la salsa del libro. They were like something that glue all together, and also bring even more color, if possible, to that to the publication. And well, here we have. So as a conclusion, before I stop talking, because it's gonna get a little bit boring otherwise, I think, I don't know, it's a book. What is this book? It's a book about lost and found drawings, right? That belongs to a very particular moment of the life of Nathalie.
My youth.
Yes.
They were lost but found again, and in finding them again, I have discovered that in fact, like it was normal, but I have not thought about it. It was absolutely normal that in fact in these drawings there were the roots of all the things that I have been doing later. So this is why now I am going to show you a few things that I have been doing later, and maybe you will find some links, and I will try to point out some links between the things.
Also, you have to say, I mean, you're not going to show things from the book, right?
No. I mean, maybe something was in the book, I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, don't take it too
no,
seriously.
Yes, because, because I have to tell you something which I haven't said yet. After the 87, I have stopped working as a designer, and I have started painting. I have really decided to build a wall between my activity as a designer, or so-called designer, because I was not even really a designer, because I have not studied design, and what I was going to start, which was doing paintings. So a completely different atmosphere. But anyway, very soon, as you will see in the images, my themes have gone back to objects and to space between the objects, so somehow to architecture and somehow to design as well. So these were these first 3 drawings. These were designs I did for Memphis in 81, the first 2, in 83 this one, and which were, let's say, a little bit my biglietto di visita, my how do you say that?
Business card.
My business card to enter the things that were communicated.
Also, you were making
about
some
me.
money out of this, right? You were selling some of the.
Yeah, well, with Memphis, I didn't make a lot of money, but through Memphis, I found other clients I have been working with, and so it became my profession, which it was not before. This is so the entrance. I have put this one because this is the entrance to the Egyptian loft, a big drawing I did in those years, and I think it's a very big room in which all the things that I could do could fit: the constructions, the paintings, and other things. This is also a drawing from those 80s, and I have put it because it is this piece of furniture is composite between an armchair and a shelf, and I have been interested for all my time in composing things with different objects or different. Anyway, you see it. The shelf is also something that I have been using a lot in my work for putting things. This is a carpet, and this is a drawing of carpet, and it is composed a little bit like a totem, in the sense that it is made, again, it is a pile of 4 different elements, and it is also representative of my way of thinking, probably.
And then you put the frame also.
And then I put the frame because I am a very traditional designer, and I like in the tradition of a carpet there is always a frame, and I think a carpet is a carpet. Is a carpet. This is a drawing much later. This is a drawing from 2009, and yeah, it's little objects put in front of me on my desk, and it's a bit like a little architecture, I think, if I look at it now. This is a table I designed for Memphis, and I have put it because the table, of course, is the set on which usually the still lifes are positioned. But I have also put it because the top of this table is made of plastic laminate, and I did a special design for it, which is somehow premonitory of things that I have been interested since then a lot, which is the kind of false
trompe-l'œil.
Yes, 3-dimensional illusion. So this table, it is as if there was a hole in the middle. This is an object, a very early object, and this is also my idea of modernity, which means it is an object which is looking medieval, and
it's
it
is
an object
modernity.
for the electronic age. This is a recent still life, and here you recognize the bricks that are the link between Omar and I.
The brick is our link.
The brick is an element that I have been using often, and this is a still life put on a chair in my studio in Milan, and which is made of an object that I have built with the brick and a painted bottle, and it is on a chair designed by George Sowden, who is a very good English designer, who is also my boyfriend. This is another still life on another chair of George Sowden, more recent. This is a plastic chair, and here you can see that the objects are here not so much for the meaning of the object, but more for a pretext for colors. Maybe? Yes, exactly. This is a big painting too, from the 90s, and these are the first big still lifes that I have been painting. And here in those years, I was interested in positioning these heteroclite objects on a little territory. Here it is a plate, here it is a tray. This is a textile. I mean, not a textile, but a project for a textile. It was never done. And this is my taste for mechanica.
Very mechanic.
There is also a mechanician in me, not only a lover of strange objects. This is a shelf which has become a sculpture, I could say. It is organized like a series of flats, apartments, and it is all these elements are glued, and so they will never be displaced from here.
So you consider it as a final piece, like?
This is a final piece. Yes, because I have to say that all my first constructions, which are in painted wood, were at first thought only as models for my still life, because I was a bit fed up with painting, the objects of the studio. And so I have decided to construct things instead. So I could decide the colors, and so I could also decide which color I wanted my paintings to be, because I was against the idea of painting things that I could not see in front of me on the canvas. I like the moment of complete forgetting that I have when I am painting.
But then there is also two moments of creation, no? When you create the model and even paint the model.
Exactly.
And then your
when I
interpretation.
prepare the set, let's call it like that, because sometimes it was a model, but sometimes it was just a set, and sometimes it would also take a longer time to prepare the set. And then once this is done, I don't change it at all. It is in front of me. I am at my easel with my paints, and I represent what I have in front, and this is a very, very pleasant moment. Because I paint because I like it. Let's face the reality. Not for any other reason. So this is a painting, and it's,
Bottles?
Transformed bottles. And here you can see the difference between the design as I was doing it, which was coming from a drawing, and then instead here, the construction. Here, these bottles, they are just painted or transformed by adding other elements on them, existing elements.
I think there is also an important thing on your paintings that it's very evident, but I didn't even realize it at the beginning, and it's the idea of like size, right? I mean,
oh like yes, everything is much bigger. This painting
like
is
magnifying
yes.
like the objects.
Yes, because when you paint much bigger than reality, you are obliged also to find ways of representing the reflections, the light on things, and this is of course part of that pleasure of painting for me.
But do you think that this idea of like magnifying, like going closer, it also has something to do with your patterns, that they look almost like scientific, like viruses and things that you could see on a microscope?
This is interesting. Maybe it's true that my patterns have often been seen as things seen in the microscope. My father was a virologist, and I remember the first things that I was showing him, he was very amused because he really thought that they looked like, and he was showing me images taken with the electronic microscope that were the first images of that type in those years. And yes, in fact, there were links, obviously. Maybe it has to do the pleasure of enlarging. And also when I was at school, in science lessons, we had the microscopes, and I remember that I absolutely adored to do a drawing of what I was seeing in the microscope.
Here you go. You have the beginning.
Yeah, it's true.
Maybe. Not only piling.
Thank you, Omar, to have made me remember that. Okay, so this is that shelf that you have seen before, and then in this case it has been interpreted in a different way. Here, as you see, I was not exactly copying what I was seeing, but I was doing it in a different way. Because also, one other thing that is changing the paintings often is the light in the studio. Because in winter, my studio is in the south. I have 3 big windows which are facing south. So there is a very, very strong light entering the studio in winter, which is changing all day. So it's almost impossible to sit in front of a scene and, for 4 hours, you cannot never have the same light. So it's a bit boring. So in winter, I tend to do other things to transform what I see into something else. But still, there is always the base of that. Yeah, okay, this is another of these paintings. This was the shelf one of the shelves that I have been building and that I have used very often as a frame for compositions.
Well, it's important also your idea of framing, no? I mean, like,
yes.
Almost like making a space within the space.
Yes, and there were the plates at the beginning,
Yes.
the trays, and yes, I like that.
It's like
thing
almost
of
arranging
framing.
within a
Yeah, like the walls.
like a limit. Yeah.
Yeah,
walls.
like the walls in architecture, like the hortus conclusus in the medieval stories, paintings, where all the great things happen between the walls. But I have also
More
been
closed spaces.
attempting to do some architecture. In this case, this is a work that I have started in 2000. I have been building this big cupboard, which you can undo and repaint, and it has existed now in about 16 or 17 different versions. And yeah, I install it. It is a little exhibition objects. Sometimes there is just something inside and it's completely bare outside, and sometimes it is all decorated outside, and sometimes there are paintings or things, sometimes there are just things inside, like here. It's like a little room.
And then I've seen this, I think already in these last 4 years that I know you like changed 7 or 8 times.
Yes, but unfortunately now I have one less room in my studio, so it will be difficult.
And you don't feel
it
like
again.
you don't feel afraid of breaking this, because you totally destroy the artwork, right?
Yes, but I mean, once it's done.
Yeah, but
it's
you don't
done.
even take a picture.
No, these are pictures. Excuse me. What are these?
Well, this is the commentation. I wouldn't say like it's a proper artistic picture.
No,
let's
it's
say.
not an artistic
I mean, many
picture.
artists would feel like that's almost, I don't know, like
Yeah,
killing their
no.
own art.
Yeah, but I'm not a
You don't.
photographer. There are documents about something that I have done. That's it. And then, next time I'll do another one. And if someone wants it anyway, you can buy it. You can buy it if you're interested in one version. And this is a piece I did for Memphis in '86. And you see, I mean, it's not very dissimilar from the things that I have always been doing. It is, again, a kind of installation of different shapes. But here, of course, it is the owner of this object who is going to install things on that kind of shelf. The white thing on the right, this is a mirror. So this is another big painting. This is very much enlarged because this is 1 meter 50 by 1 meter 50. So yeah, it's very big.
Oh, like that.
And it's also between 4 walls
Yes.
of a sake drinking box,
It's a sake drinking box.
Yeah. which are done in such a lovely wood with a horrible telephone. This is something, this is one of the first 3-dimensional pieces that I have been doing in 2001. And this was the first time that I was building again something, because the still life that I was painting in the 90s, I was putting together objects. Here I have been building these objects specifically to make a set to be painted. And this was done in a ceramic place, in a place in France where they do porcelain, which is called Le Craft in Limoges. And they had invited me to do some work, and so I have decided to do a series of 20 still life on bases like that.
To sell as a final object,
To sell?
or no?
No, nobody wanted them.
Okay.
I have most of them. And anyway, and now these are, as you can see,
There is a strong connection.
they are really coming from, these paintings are coming from those compositions. Because then I have been really starting building special things for the...
And do you ever change the color? I mean, when you make the
Never.
composition, then you change the color on the real...
No. If I want to change the color, I have to paint the object to change the color on the set, on the model.
So no Photoshop on your paintings?
No. No invention.
Right. The invention,
Zero invention.
that comes first.
A landscape of objects.
Beautiful.
Very simple. A more complicated one. This is a painting done in winter. So when it's dark already, so there is no sun disturbing in the room, but there is a projected light which gives a very precise shadow on the wall. And yeah, this is very interesting of those winter paintings, because when you do a painting like that, of course, the three-dimensional object and its shadow have exactly the same value, not like in real life. This is, again, a pile of things, very disordered. There has been a moment that I have been doing this very disorganized pile of
Has
things.
something to do with your private life, maybe?
Of course, Omar. Every painting is a self-portrait somehow,
Yeah, but
always.
that's pretty like clear.
It's true for me, but it's true for everybody, I think.
I don't paint, so.
In fact, here you see there is a little bit of order coming.
You will
back.
get in there, right?
Yeah, this is already more architectural. This is not only rovine.
But I don't see that much disorder, but like a natural kind of order. I mean, especially in the second one.
No,
It
in
could be a
fact-
natural, it could be a garden.
Yeah, it could be also a fallen temple.
Yes, as well.
Anyway. And this is also another little, another drawing, not so little. Everything is always larger than reality. And this is also set in front of me on my desk. And this is a drawing made of pieces of wood. This is the one you like.
I love this so much.
These are the grids that I have, that I like to intersect. And this is
Also because even this picture could be, it looks like a painting, like this.
yeah, in fact, I have done also painting. Wait, there is one. Where is it? I don't know where it is. It's
No,
not
no,
here.
don't.
It's
Don't
not
do
there.
that, Natalie.
Non l'abbiamo messa.
Va
We
bene.
forgot to put it.
It's okay.
There was a painting, very frontal, because my paintings are mostly very frontal. So in fact, they are very flat. This is why you thought the other image was very flat.
Yeah,
too.
but I like it.
Yeah. And also when I take pictures, it's always very flat.
But still, I mean, every time I see this sculpture, I can't believe that they don't exist anymore.
I know, but these are not even glued.
Yeah, that's what. That
No, this is glued, of course, otherwise it could never stand. But no, this brown piece is glued, but all the rest is just...
it still impresses me because they are beautiful, and I don't know.
Yeah, but you know, this is the advantage of small things. You can move them around.
And this is a painting, right?
This is a painting. This is a painting in winter with the projecting light. And this is a painting I like. This is a big painting also. This is 1 meter 50 by 1 meter 50. I paint in oil on canvas. This is another of these objects. This is a very recent painting of a construction.
But it's funny
This
when
is a construction on the wall, because also a lot of the constructions are wall pieces. This is a painting of a thick grid, which is just a pretext to carry colors, in fact. This is dedicated to Anthony. Another wall piece, another painting. This is the top of a monochrome construction. This
it's
is
like
also...
a little garden again.
Yes, in fact, it is, yes. It could be a building with a lot of antennas
Yes.
for parabolic television. And then at a certain point, I was fed up representing things, so I have decided to try and do at the same time the thinking and the painting. And then I have started to do these paintings, which are in fact impossible.
So you mean there is no model for this painting?
There is no model. In fact, it would be impossible. This was also an advantage. I was not obliged to paint things that could really exist.
But in fact, you started painting like abstract things or like representations of moments or things or stories that they weren't there as a model, right?
Yes.
So
But in fact, these things I have started doing when I have started doing some textiles again. So it means I have been again in contact with something which was completely different.
and do you think like the process of going through all the images that you have scanned for the book, did it change you a little bit the way you were painting? Did it influence to you?
I don't know if it influenced me, but certainly it has put me in mind. It has made me remember the state of mind I was in when I was doing certain things. And yes, of course, it is. Yeah, it was changing something. But everything you do in your life changes anyway.
Sure.
Even if we hadn't do the book, I would have been doing other things.
Maybe more interesting.
Maybe much more interesting.
You wouldn't be here, maybe, or maybe yes.
And so, yeah, again, the fact of working on the table again much more, because I was doing these drawings for textiles. That was about 3 years ago. I have also started doing these big abstract drawings. I have done a lot of them. So here we are in 83, and this is a wall made of sheets of paper, 70 centimeters by 100, and I have covered the whole complete wall with it. This was a fantastic feeling of megalomaniac feeling. Yeah. Super. Very proud. But I didn't know I would ever become a painter anyway. And yeah, this is Memphis textile, which is all broken, like a broken surface. It doesn't look flat to me.
And that's what I wanted to say. I mean, it looks like it has many dimensions.
Yeah,
right?
This is really broken, and in fact, these paintings that I have done 3 years ago, for a year, I have done only these completely abstract paintings that were like kind of meteorites arriving I don't know where. They could be fragments of those surfaces, in fact.
Yes.
In my idea. Like this one also is a very fragmented type of surface.
But also there is some attraction towards the center.
Yes. It's a carpet. There is a border. Corners. And this is again a meteorite. These are 1 meter by 1 meter, these paintings. So they are very different. I mean, they are still objects, but they are very different from the objects that I built.
But they have some three-dimensional aspect somehow.
Yeah, no, they have an aspect of an object anyway. They are, I think. This is dress. In the 80s, I have been doing, and I still do a lot of different things. In the 80s, among the other things, I have also been designing some clothes, and these were some clothes in lycra that I designed with a friend of mine. We did a collection that was called The Good Day for Dogs, and then we met a dancer who I think has been interpreting this lycra dress very nicely, making it almost falling, the rigid structure of the pattern. I like also that contrast. But I was also very attracted by fast flying in those years. Things which had a direction.
They look like eyes. Traveling.
Yeah, eyes or razzi, how do you say that? Razzo. Rockets. Yeah, gentle rockets.
Gentle rockets, I like.
Another gentle rocket from some years later, all by itself, and a little bit slower, I think.
But this is a cutout, or it's
No. This is This is painted. It's a canvas, 1 by 1.
Okay.
No. They come later. This is not. This is a cutout.
Okay. Sorry.
These are the new ones, which are not painted on canvas anymore, but which are painted on paper, cut out, And so they can go anywhere on the wall, change direction, they are very different, and also they disappear completely on the surface of the wall in the sense that they have no thickness. They are pure illusion. There is no object. It is as if it was painted on the wall, in fact. And this is a recent work that I have done, where I have been putting together a three-dimensional object and one of these cut-out papers. And here I was interested because I was interested in the fact that, especially when they were photographed like that, or anywhere, when they were lit in that way, you could really not see. It took you a while to understand which was the real object and which was the false one. And yeah, this is the think of a trompe-l'œil that I was anticipating when I was talking about the table, which had this flat design on top.
And they're always meant to be together, like to be
these
couples.
they are meant to
Yes.
be together. Yeah, yeah. This is a series of. They are all couples. This is another one. And also here it is a little bit. I mean, maybe you immediately see which is the painted thing and which is the. But for me, every time I see them, I have a little moment of hesitation. I'm not completely sure. This is a painting in a frame. So here also there is, this is the beginning of the two, of the object here, which is the frame, and the false object, which is the painting of an object, which is inside the frame.
But it's a frame that you painted, or it's a real frame?
It's a real frame that I have designed and painted, but it's a real frame in which, behind which stands the canvas. Yeah, and also I like this painting because for me it was a little bit anticipating the couples because of the mix, because of the juxtaposition between the real object and the painted one.
Mm-hmm.
This is also a recent work. This is installed inside one of those cabins that I was showing before. In this case, it has all been painted white. And this was, these are all the objects that Gagarin has been gathering during his first flight around the Earth in 1962.
So you made it for what? You made it for an exhibition in Russia, you done?
Yeah, yeah, I did that for, I had some friends who were doing a kind of something that was called balconism, and they were choosing windows in St. Petersburg and letting artists choose a window in the city and then invent what was behind that window. And in my case, I said that behind that window that I had been choosing, there was a shrine to Gagarin, the hero of the space. I mean, you are all very young, but maybe you've heard of Yuri Gagarin. You know who he is.
So,
Yes.
the chess player, no?
Exactly, Omar. And anyway, yes. So then I have done this little shrine, and yeah, all these little ideas that Gagarin has had as he was flying around the Earth. All these nice
Beautiful
little
colors.
colors. Yes. And this is the room where we should be sitting now, a red room to drink red wine. And this is my idea also of somehow the real modernity, which is a classical room with a chair, with chairs, a sofa, a fireplace, and then things which are growing from the walls, and very naturally, and completely in a completely different way from.
And where the color is very important.
Yes, red, a red room to drink red wine, and with a nice carpet.
It would be
well.
amazing to be there now.
Yeah, you can have naked feet on the carpet. It's wool, And then here there is no fire because it is summer. But today we would lit a fire in that fireplace, certainly.
Wow, that would be amazing.
Thank you very much for your attention.
I really want to go there.
Now we go.
Fantastic.
You have questions? You want to know something else? Who is Yuri Gagarin?
For real.
Where does the name come from for the books?
Ah, ha, 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 ha. Where does it come from, the name? It was supposed to be the last sentence in the book,
Yes,
in fact.
but we didn't have a title, so we put it as a title.
Exactly.
It's true.
But I mean, it is also, yeah, don't take them too seriously, but or maybe take them very seriously.
I think you were taking it very seriously when you were doing it, right?
Yes,
And I think now.
but also not so seriously. But you know what? Also, when we did the book, I mean,
We didn't take it too
this is
seriously
my
either.
character, but I was a little bit afraid to have done such a big book of these things that I had even forgotten, you know, so I felt a little bit strange, and I wanted to lower a little bit the key.
Okay, to take some importance out
Yes.
of that. Yeah.
That's why. That's all? Yes? Hello.
Why there's no frame in the red room? All the paintings, everything has a frame.
It's a drawing.
Oh, and that's why.
Yeah, it's a drawing on a piece of paper.
Okay, so no frame.
No
I
frame.
mean, no frame, I mean.
No, they could be red growing around, but I was a bit lazy.
So we could imagine the rest.
Yeah.
You think there is a blue room next to it? All red?
I don't know. No, I mean, I have done this red room because I thought it was a good idea. I wouldn't like to drink a blue wine. Curacao, a blue room to drink curacao.
You have to make it, Natalie. Red room? What? It's in the Shine, no? That is like somebody said like red room.
Where?
It's in the film The Shine.
I don't
The Shining,
remember.
sorry.
I have no memory for movies.
The red room. And here you go.
Yes? No, I
Yes,
didn't know that.
it's somebody like red room. So nothing else?
Well, there's an obvious question now that you've started cutting shapes out. What is next?
Oh,
Gluing them back together. Piling them. I don't know. No, I don't know, in fact. But one never really knows. I mean, it's not really, you cannot really plan the future.
No, of course, but you have curiosities that are very specific in terms of 2D or 3D or weaved surfaces or decorated surfaces or painted surfaces or even the surfaces that you paint on. I suppose, I mean, obviously this is a narrative that is constructed. I think we're all aware of that, especially because it's not chronological, but
Yeah.
there seem to be very specific steps in
Yeah,
maybe
but
no, yeah, I don't know if it's you talk about it as if you get bored with something and then you start something else.
yeah, but because it works like that. Because it is my, I am not very, I have never, I mean, I concentrate terribly on something, but then I want to do something else. And it's only in a second time that I link them together. I think I am in a moment of my life, but also because of the book probably, that I am all of a sudden very interested in linking different things in my work. This is why also these couples, this is a link, between the very flat thing and the three-dimensional volume. Yes, I think in this moment I am kind of, it is a moment that I am interested in looking at what I have done, maybe more than I have ever worked on. Because this is taking me in other places, because the fact of looking at the things and combining them gives birth to other things. And in this moment, yes.
So you're ready for another book now?
Ah, totally. Are you?
Yes.
Okay, then. That's a deal.
Trato hecho.
And you will have to take it very seriously then.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Now we have to make it.